Area waiting dey play, waiting dey saw. How una dey? Like this, so we don come again. Auto say the matter wey Baba Ahmed Bola Tinubu, our president, put for ground the day wey dem put am for power, wey im take remove subsidy. Dat matter don dey cause many gbege for inside the country. People dey talk am say Baba no get plan for dis country. E suppose make plan or requirement before im go remove dat subsidy. Such like e suppose get some officials or like parliament to talk or discuss with am, or im go set im own ministers. But right now, I want make una watch dis video with me, make we see wetin dem talk, how dem take discuss the matter. Oya na, feel am.
In putting an end to fuel subsidy, President Tinubu seems to understand the huge responsibility he has inherited in ensuring that Nigeria is placed on the right path, irrespective of the current economic situation in the country. However, as Nigerians await the selection of leaders for the National Assembly, as well as ministerial appointments, topmost in the mind of every citizen is that square pegs must not find their way into round holes. Joining us now to discuss Tinubu's unveiling of cabinet members, their roles and expectations, is former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Michael Andoaka, a senior advocate of Nigeria. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you very much.
Well,
good morning.
Let's start with the issue we've been discussing this morning, the fuel subsidy removal. People have cited that as a bold move. Some have said, oh, it's good evidence that the president managed to hit the ground running. But the NLC is saying, well, it cannot negotiate with people who do not have portfolios. And, NLC is making demands. TUC also has, a set of demands. And ordinary Nigerians are saying, oh, this is additional stress for us. What do you think?
Well, thank you very much. The issue of subsidy is a very difficult situation. Right from the time of President Yaradua, we felt it was desirable to remove the fuel subsidy. But the level of poverty and the issue of wages, low wages in the country, it was really difficult to do. But as times went on, you could realize that kind of corruption and the inappropriate billing came in. As of now, I don't think any Nigerian knows the level of fuel consumption in Nigeria and the extent of which actual fuel subsidy was utilized. If you look at it from that premise, it's desirable to remove it, but there must be palliatives in place. Efficient public transportation. And I believe that government should look from the direction of an efficient public transportation, direction of increased welfare of the workers, and all those kind of things supposed to be in place. But actually, the level of inappropriate handling of the fuel subsidy issue came to the conclusion that it was actually not reaching the masses. And maybe that must have been the wisdom of the government.
Right. Well, Mr. Andoaka, talking about wisdom, perhaps hitting the ground running for Mr. President.
Can you be louder?
Okay, can you hear me now, sir? Mr. Andoaka, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, fantastic. I was saying, talking about hitting the ground running and... Okay. All right, I'll come back to this question, but I'll let Dr. Bate ask his next question.
Okay. Well, one of the things we've also talked about this morning has been about appointments the president appointing chief of staff, secretary to the government of the federation, deputy chief of staff, and other officials of government. But there's one issue about appointments, which was raised by Festus Keyamo, former Minister of State for Labor and Employment. And his argument simply was that the position of a Minister of State is unconstitutional. You were once Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice. Will you advise the President not to appoint Ministers of State? Because as your brother Silk had pointed out, Minister of State is an unconstitutional position.
Thank you very much. That is his view, actually. But you see, if you see the of appointment Minister of State, during my time, all the ministers were ministers. Minister of the designation at the discretion of the president. Where you are a minister in the federation. I saw the letters of appointment during my time. All of them were designated minister in the government of the federation. There was no letter of appointment specifically naming Minister of State. Minister of State is a discretion. You know, apart from the office of Attorney General that is specific. The president to describe any other minister appointed by him and call him any other name. I don't think there will be anything unconstitutional there. The issue is at the discretion because the executive powers of the president are vested in the president and he has to name it. Today, if you decide to call Minister of Finance a different minister or different name, there's nothing is unconstitutional about it. Except that he cannot call Attorney General otherwise because it's vested in the Constitution. He cannot call Secretary to the government otherwise. Well, Secretary to the government is not part of the ministers, but these are appointments designated in the Constitution and specifically named. But Minister of State is a discretion of the President to describe the ministers appointed on him, whether you are Minister or Minister of State. But letters of appointment during my time only had Minister in the Federation of the government.
Soundwalker, thank you very much. I'm sure you can hear me now.
Is that very clear?
Yes, very clear. Thank you.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So last week we had Mr. Olisa Agbakwo and also join us to review perhaps or make recommendations with regards to appointments by the president. I don't know if you have your own suggestions or perhaps recommendations from your experience, because he's talked about, that's the president, the importance of having a solid team to steer the ship of Nigeria. In your estimation, who are some of the key members of his government that ought to be in place, if you have any recommendations?
You see, government is a collective decision. A minister from other ministers. Because in the Federal Executive Council, views are debated and decision taken as one decision. So we cannot say this is a key ministry or that. But the important thing is that it's for government. I've also followed the line of Lene Sik Agbakwa. There should be people who have the intellect, people who have the capacity to meet the challenges of government. Because the current government seems to inherit a lot of liabilities and obligations. It must have the caliber of people who are ready to work, who are ready to think outside the box to ensure that they resolve these challenges. And of course, the performance of this government will give the government the full legitimacy everybody is expecting. You know, no matter how the government comes in, if Nigerians get what they want, what they are lacking, security, basic food, improved welfare of workers, good health, if the government puts those things on the table immediately and has caliber of people to do those things, I don't think any Nigerian will bother whether there's any issues with legitimacy of the government. To me, legitimacy is being able to deliver. And I believe it is essential for the president to elect or select the best hands to assist him do this job. Nigerians are waiting to see him deliver. Nigerians are waiting to see him provide security. Basically, some people, you know, the basic economy of Nigeria is driven by the agriculture. Even if you see the GDP, agriculture tends to be the main driver. But in the set of insecurity, agriculture, which is largely subsisting, cannot be done because the farmers can't go to farm. Therefore, everybody is waiting to see that this government brings security. So people who are responsible for security should be people of high caliber. Government, there seem to be lawlessness. And if government is involved, especially the Attorney General, it should be somebody who will drive the government based on the rule of law, respect for court decision, respect for people's fundamental human rights. That is what people, there's a kind of feeling that there's an impunity and people do not respect people's fundamental human rights. Government must bring people who are in a position to guarantee this. Basically, also on the part of the economy, handling the economy, that they can restore the confidence in our naira. I think that is the kind of things Nigerians are expecting. And that is the direction in what Bukwa was saying, get people who are very credible. After all, he had a very capable team in Lagos State, and he delivered. And I believe here in Nigeria as a whole, he will deliver.
My people, waiting they play. How now they see the discussion for inside this update wanna watch right now. Make una leave una opinion for the comment section. Whether na think say Baba go fit carry this country to the permanent side wey go favor everybody. Muna let us know. Also say Baba no get plan for the country or in get for the country. In come for the betterment of this our country called Nigeria. Make una let us know. Now here we for draw the matter. God bless una as now they follow us, they jolly for inside this channel.